Well, hello everyone, and thank you for joining us for another episode of Iron Panther Presents. This is a good day, so I get to discuss Sterling K. Brown, the three-time Emmy winner, also nominated for an Oscar, one of the best actors of the 2000s, and he is leading Paradise, a new show on Hulu. First three episodes we shall be discussing. He's fantastic. He's absolutely fantastic. Watch his SNL intro when he did it. It was beautiful. It's beautiful. Anyway, I love this man. Anyway, we're gonna get to this show. But anyway, like on the video, comment on the video, share the video, watch the video till the end. We're gonna discuss some movies I feel is very similar. We're gonna discuss some TV shows, which is very similar. None of this stuff is really new. It's just interesting how to kind of put it all together underground. We can get all that. Anyway, enjoy the intro and then we'll start the show. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Oh, wait. I got to do it now. Wait. This is gonna be funny. Wait. You ready? I gotta do it.
This is awesome. This is awesome. This is amazing. I love it.
It was psychological. It was emotional.
Extremely entertaining.
But as always, as we try to say here, as we said, if you are new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. And as we talk about this video, please like on the video and comment on the video, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. Yes, Hulu has delivered a series that you have to join Hulu to watch, and I'm mad as fuck because I thought through Disney Plus I could watch it. I had to go back to Hulu, but it was worth every dime. It was worth every dime. Sterling K. Brown does it again. Anyway, let's start with let's go with Kim. Kim, let's see how your internet's doing. Either way, what you think Sterling K. Brown leading?
I love it. I'm intrigued on every point. The whole idea of it, living underground in an underground city, that's amazing. Like it's so beautiful. Like you can't even tell that they're underground. It's but the whole murder and everything, I'm really intrigued. So I can't wait to figure out who actually did it. I'm kind of leaning to the ex-wife, but then I don't know. They're trying to make it too much of a conspiracy kind of thing, you know, where the millionaires are involved and possibly Sinatra, you know. So, you know, we'll see where it goes. But I would say Sterling K. Brown, he is the man. Like he can do anything. I love his acting. Anything I've ever seen him in, I've enjoyed. So, and in this one, his emotions are all over his face, and he doesn't even have to open his mouth for me to understand what he's trying to convey. And to me, that's a great actor. So, I'm enjoying it. So, what do you guys think?
Did you watch This Is Us?
Yes, I did, and I had to cut it off at a point where I had to stop watching because it was very emotional. And at that time in my life, I was going through some emotional stuff. And I had to like back away from it because it was so riveting and so real that I was like, I got to stop. But I did see him in like 3 seasons of This Is Us, and he was excellent. So,
as the creator of that show, also created this show. Do you see the similarities, like in storytelling, almost like he's a Randall with a gun, like he's like.
Yeah, I could say that, but Randall was a little bit more sensitive than this guy. This guy to me is a tougher skin, right? He's going through a lot of emotional things, but he kind of, because of his job mostly, right? And because he wants to protect his children, he has to be a little stronger, right? And so Randall kind of, he had a lot of moments where he had to break down, right? And this character is trying not to do that, you know?
But you see it though, like you said on his face, you see it, like it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah.
Like
it's definitely coming. Yeah, it is.
Once the wife story starts to get involved, Randall's coming. The tears are coming. Like it's gonna be real. But they're kind of laying the groundwork for that.
He's another one who gets the snotty nose like Viola.
Right. If those two together were together, that should just be snot and Oscars. Just more Oscars, like more snot. Just all of it. We'll get to Viola Davis look like in the show. Let's do Chris real quick. Chris, what did you think of the series? Positive.
I would say the biggest thing that I like about it is we got an American cast right now, guys. American, finally. It's so rare to see this, right? So
America first.
Pretty much, yes. Thank you, Hulu. Hulu gets it. You know what I mean? Hulu. Take note, Netflix, and pretty much every other network.
Everybody else.
everybody else. You know what I mean? So yeah, so I am enjoying that. Even though I will say this, Sterling K. Brown, I will not forget you betraying Wakanda. So never forget. Anyway, but never forget that shit. But you know he is definitely the highlight of the show. Obviously he's the main star, but you know his acting is incredible in this, as it is in pretty much everything. Um, I did not watch This Is Us. However, I am getting so far I'm kind of getting annoyed with the
Constant flashbacks.
the constant flashbacks. I get it, and I feel like they're doing a little bit too much with throwing a conspiracy with the also the fact. Let me start off by saying I was really confused in the beginning when I found out that he was uh, basically in the security detail for the president, and I saw him jogging around his neighborhood. The whole time I was like, where the fuck is he? Because I'm looking around, I'm looking at the house, and I'm like, this ain't DC. This is not even Virginia, unless he lives like Southern VA. Because I'm very familiar with DMV, and I'm like, shouldn't he live close to DC? So the whole time, I don't know why. Maybe because I just live in this area, it bothered me. Like, there's no way. I was like, there's no houses that look like this in DC.
That's how I was.
And then Virginia
like
too. Even
25
Virginia,
years.
and then in Maryland, and then all of a sudden it was revealed they were in the mountain. I'm like, oh, okay.
I
was like,
submit that I thought
Yeah.
I knew that Kyle wasn't in office anymore, and therefore he was in his retirement home, and that's why I didn't go through all that. Like I thought he was post because he said after my second term, my wife's leaving me, and I'm gonna live my life, and I want you to be there with me. So I thought he was in that stage.
But then they showed him what Billy when we ran up to Billy, who was guarding in the front. That's where I was like, shit, no, that's the white. No, he just went up to the White House. And then that's why I was like, something ain't right here. I was like, I was like, yo, these writers are all effed up right now. This is screwed up. So screwed up. And then it was revealed in the mount, which brings up my other issue. You're throwing a scandalous stuff with like stuff with Scandal with some sci-fi the dome shit. You know what I mean? And I don't like that. You're throwing it's just too much. It's too much plot. That gets very confusing, especially when you're doing all these flashbacks. And it gets very messy, which I'm starting to already see already. You know what I mean? I'm starting to see that they're doing a little bit too much. I'm okay with the somewhat of the Scandal thing, but it's just too much. It's just even that's becoming too much. If they would have kept with the fact that it was, I don't know, the head woman,
Sinatra.
If they would have kept the whole thing with Sinatra was great, but then now they're throwing the whole thing with Billy, and that's why I'm like, y'all doing. I was like, y'all doing the most extra shit. Because in the next episode, it's gonna be the son. The son will hated his father so much. Maybe the son did it, and then you know what I mean. And then at the very end, we're gonna find out it's Maggie Simpson that pulled the trigger. You know what I mean?
Of course she did.
Like,
and she stole the laptop because she thought it was an iPad.
Right. He said, I thought it had games on there. I thought it just had games on there.
It's the baby. You gotta go to the babies. No, I'm kidding.
Baby. You know, and then we're gonna find out the wife is not dead, and it's really the wife that really did it. It's the wife. You know what I mean? I'm already seeing this.
Prepared for anything.
Yeah. It's just because I'm already seeing this now. It's just the fact that if they didn't throw in the whole "we're living in the mountain," you know what I mean, with the fake sun, and then in the next previews they showed like them controlling the weather with a little touch screen thing. I was like, oh my god. I was like, here we go. Here we go. You know, so that's starting to annoy me. But the acting is good, so I'm a little worried.
Positives, Chris. I'm irritated right now. But I hear you.
Oh, yeah. That's it. That's it. America first.
Next round. You already messed up. All right.
America first.
Well, America first. He's silly. All right, Stacey. I don't know what Chris is talking about. What you got?
I did enjoy it. It is intriguing. Like Chris, I don't like the back and forth. I've never liked shows that did that, other than This Is Us. And then when you said, is this the same guy? I was like, oh, okay, I get it. So we're just going to keep doing this. So like Chris, like in the beginning of the episode where he went outside and he was talking to the neighbor, and I was like, what kind of community is this? And then he's jogging, and I was like, okay, maybe he's guarding the mayor, because I thought it was maybe in the beginning and he works his way up to Secret Service. So maybe he was guarding a mayor, because I was like, who is this person in this house? Because this clearly isn't the White House. And then his partner Billy was giving me kind of Max and Bobby vibes, but with like a role reversal.
Who? Who's that?
Never, it's another show. Don't worry about it.
But yeah.
Yeah, I was getting Max and Bobby, so I was like, okay. And then I was like, I'm thinking his wife is divorced. Maybe she left him. Then the kids were there, and I was like, the wife wouldn't have left the kids. And I was like, and it was just like something's off, but I couldn't put my finger on it. Then the ducks, I was like, why are they fake ducks? This is really strange. And so when they did the reveal, I was like, oh. So I was thinking like this is another one of those shows where like the black person has to save civilization, because I've seen this before on a couple different shows, because they kept bringing up the fact that he was black. And I was like, okay, is this gonna somehow save the world because he's black? Like I was confused. So I was like, okay. Then him and the therapist, I was like, they're gonna be fucking. And sure enough, they were fucking. And I was like, yes, ass cheeks. I'm here for it. But yeah, I'm curious to see where this goes.
Wait. Are you clapping as the ass cheeks are clapping? Or are you clapping because you saw the ass cheeks? We gotta put this together.
Y'all didn't see the uncensored version of Hulu? No.
I was like, oh shit. I was like, dog. Anyway, we're getting off track. Stacey, please.
So yeah. So my first, I knew something was off with Billy, and I was like, he did it or he's involved. And then I was like, it was the son. Then I was like, no, it's always the wife. So I'm kind of going back and forth. I'm not sure what Sinatra's up to. Obviously, she's like, I guess the villain of the show or whatever. But yeah, I'm just curious to see where it goes at this point.
All right, so we got interest. We got interest in the different.
And I was annoyed. Like, are there no animals? Like, you knew this was coming. You didn't put like a cow, some cows, some chickens on the ark.
Yeah, Noah's Ark.
Eggs coming from? Are these lab created eggs?
Right. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, y'all didn't know it arc this shit. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Yeah.
At least cows and chickens, because you can get like multiple resources from both.
I understand not getting giraffes. I mean, screw the giraffes.
Right, no.
But like the important ones. You know what I mean?
Maybe some pets.
The ones that actually do shit for us.
You can eat almost anything. Hence, The Walking Dead. And you get creative. Anything can become a meal.
What we know: chicken, cows, milk, eggs.
Or American diet, because this is America. This is America 2.0. So
what happened to the rest of the world? Are they still above ground, or are they up?
America first. America first. That's why there's no British actors in there, because they did.
They're all dead.
So they only put like native-born Americans, no like immigrants on the ark, I guess.
Then we hold up. Then we got let's get anything else.
What about tacos? We need tacos. There's a couple Mexicans on the boat.
There's Latinos there, but that's a whole other issue, and that's little. We'll get to diversity. There was diversity, but it wasn't planned out. But anyway, anything else before we get to Jemani?
Nah.
All right. Stacey will concede the floor. Jemani, please.
Yeah. I was glad to see Glenn. Was it Terman? That's how you say his last name. In the show, like
Oh, the father. He's talking about the father.
Yeah. So
Simon and Simon, banger, Major Dad, banger, like just he's a long-term actor. I'm sorry, bro. I'm old. Continue.
Yeah. So yeah, I was happy to see him in it. He usually does good work or what.
This Is Us.
What?
He's on This Is Us.
He was.
Oh, he's on there too.
Yeah.
Okay.
You talking about Cal's daddy, right? I'm sorry. You talking about the black daddy? I'm sorry. I'm talking about the white daddy. Please continue. You talking about the black daddy? I'm sorry. My bad.
What? He only has one daddy in this show.
I'm talking about.
David, it's not that DEI. It's not that too far DEI.
Don't get me started.
Hey, they only got one daddy. I know you're into the DEI stuff. This is one daddy.
I apologize, Jemani. Please continue.
Okay, I have no idea. All right, so yeah, I watched this earlier in the week, like Tuesday when it actually happened. I mean, when it actually aired, or
It actually happened.
aired or what have you, right? And I was like, man, he is snitch, right? And then immediately, like the next day, and then yesterday, yeah, I had to reassess my thoughts on him being a snitch because of world events. So yeah, he's a hero.
Oh, the plane thing, Jamal, you're talking about this point.
Yeah.
Okay, but like you need to put that shit
I
together.
was about to say, like,
I was like, what?
context. I was like, context. Jamani's being the Joker right now, or the Riddler with the riddles and stuff. I'm like,
so, who do you think killed the president or some shit? Who do you think killed the president? Go.
I don't know, because I really don't even know what the hell this show is. Like I don't know what the genre of the show is even give me a clue as to make predictions, because this show is more science fiction than murder mystery as you described it to me, because this therapist or grief counselor or what have you, she's like cherry picking lives to save, and I don't know, I think she has like a god complex or something now, and she has to have sex with him in a shower to tell him that his friend Billy is sus.
No, that's just the icing on the cake. Like, she was like, hey, I mean, I can solve this
for years. I mean, come on.
Also, she did pick him. She handpicked that penis. So she's like, you need to fuck me for that.
I gotta try it out. I gotta try out what I paid for. I
gotta try out what also.
So that means if she cherry picked him, that means she cherry picked his wife to die.
Yes.
Exactly.
That's what I'm waiting for.
She's the real
I'm waiting for that. She was like, nah, like we only need X amount of black people, and I picked this one. And so fuck your wife. Like that, we haven't got to all that. That's the part of the mystery. That's all part of the mystery. Like, why didn't the wife get make it to the underground facility? That's part of the mystery.
Quota, man. Quota.
Because right now he's blaming the president, and then we need to find out that it wasn't even his fault. You know what I'm saying? Because he didn't know shit. Like, Sinatra is running everything, and Gabrielle was helping her run everything. The president is just as lost as the president in Scandal. To the Scandal reference, he just a pretty face, really. Continue. Sorry.
Yeah. I don't even know what the timeline is. What it bouncing back and forth. I'm like, in the second episode, they go all the way back to
like 12 years ago.
When Sinatra's daughter was young. Now she's like in high school or college or something. So I'm like,
okay, hold up. Obama left office in 2016, correct?
Yeah.
Tack on 4 more years because he said he's in his second term, so that's 2020. Then you assume that he actually completed his second term, so it's actually like 2024. So
did he bring up Obama in this? They brought up Obama?
Yes, actually, and that's I'm gonna hold that from my DEI statement. But he was in this. It was acknowledged that he's a part of this universe, which also that means they let him die. So like it's at least 2024 ish. I would say.
Okay, but that still doesn't tell me what year that her son had ice cream and died or what have you.
So you subtract. Okay, so
see, I don't need to be watching shows where I need to do math.
That Jamani, that was the biggest problem I had with this. Going through all this, and I had to keep track. When was 5 years and when was 12 years? No,
it's too much. It's too much.
On top of a mystery.
Yeah. So the build up to the world ending is a show, and we could have did that. Okay. Who Killed the President is another show, and we could have did that, right? To your point, like then putting all this shit together, but then it's again, like I said, the sub story of why Robinson was fucking the president, unless that's gonna somehow solve why the world ended. What are we doing with this? Like, so you have at least 3 different storylines going on. Who killed the president? Why did the world end? and somehow those are going to they are going to be connected. I feel like whoever killed the president, he was going to explain that he's the reason. He did something to cause the nuclear weapon war that caused the world to end.
It's in the tablet, apparently.
It wasn't a nuclear weapon war. I thought it was like a tsunami or something like that.
No. If as the plane was landing, you saw like the nuclear blast, like you saw that, so bombs were dropped, and I think that they were prepping for something for like the natural disaster, but it turned out to be a man-made disaster, and he wants to say that it was his fault, and someone killed, and then took the laptop, the MacBook, to be like, we can't let people know what really happened, how we got to this point. Because that would make society fall apart if they knew that the people in charge caused this whole shit. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's where we're going somewhere with that. Also, he got shot at because the guy said people need to know what's going on in Colorado. So even when he got shot, it was already being built. This shit was happening before he even got elected. Sinatra did all this shit. She got with that scientist. She started building the underground facility. She put Cal in the White House to be like, we need someone in charge while I'm building this shit, and she is the mastermind of all this.
So she's the Elon Musk of this show.
Oh
my god, bro! Elon Musk, bro. Because Elon trying to put us on freaking was it Jupiter or Mars or some shit or whatever? Yeah, Mars.
Also wanted to go to Mars.
Not us. Them.
Pointed out.
Well, yeah, them. I'm sorry, we're not part of 25,000. We're not part of that. Yeah.
So I love the specificity of the number, but again, that could have been a show all by itself, right? Like the world has 10 years, it has 6 months. We're not saving this, right? So how do we save what's left, right? Are we going to get to the fact, are other countries, do they have their own underground facilities, or is America the only thing left? Like that's a series all by itself. Fuck who killed the president.
But do we need this though? Do we need? Huh? But do we need this? I'm gonna be honest. I'm the same way with Jamani. I did not sign up for this whole another end of the world show / movie. Like there's so many end of the world stuff, like the Armageddons, and well, I know you're about to say one.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate you.
But I was literally looking for a actual drama thriller of a like who shot the president, like who killed the president in the midst of this secret service agent who hated the president's guts. That's what I kind of like. That's what I bought into, and them throwing in the whole like end of the world scenario thing. I didn't need this. I don't care. I don't want this. All I want is the mystery. Like we've gotten too many. We got a lot of these end of the world stuff. Matter of fact, they don't even give you a hint that is about anything about the end of the world when you see any of these still promos. You know what I mean? So it's like them throwing this is just so unnecessary, in my opinion. I don't know if they just felt like, oh, like it's Hulu and maybe we got to get like big numbers and people love the end of the world stuff, but. No, man, just create a good story, one story, you know what I mean? And just about like all these people of like the whodunit type deal, like stick to that, you know what I mean? But I don't need this whole going back and forth in time about like these new codes that could potentially end the rest of the world as we know it and all this other shit. It's just, they're just doing too much, man. They just are.
Stacey was waving the finger. Why were you waving the finger?
So when they were like, you were the last person to see the president, I was like, he did it. So I was thinking Manchurian Candidate, like he killed him, but he didn't remember he killed him. And I was like, But then we don't know.
Yeah. So Billy is a new girlfriend. They cut off the camera so they could play Wii. And I was like, this is odd product placement.
They were playing with Wii, all right.
Yeah, but did anybody see when they were like standing there talking to Xavier that they kind of like intertwined their fingers intertwined for a second?
Yeah,
like a flash.
And I was like, they weren't playing Wii, unless that's what we call it now. Is that
they're playing Wii? They're playing Wii tennis with a ball, all right. Going back and forth.
Something is going on with those two.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it could be also too, maybe Billy and her are like, they could be extremists or a part of maybe an extremist group, but somehow the psychiatrist missed that part. Maybe they're the children of extremists. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah,
know I'm just spitballing here, but something is going on with those two, and it's more than just them doing, that.
each other.
We,
There you go.
yeah.
Well, so I feel like I feel again. I still they flash back to the first episode where Samantha was talking to the president, and is again she was like, "Oh, I like to see you with some balls now," because he's like, I wanna step up, right?" And then he's immediately killed, right? So I feel like he's trying to confess something. I feel like she doesn't know who did it because she's genuinely trying to find out. She's like she's under pressure from the billionaires or whatever to find out. So I think she genuinely doesn't know, but it's all part of the same thing. Billy or someone killed him to stop him from talking, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like, is it the husband? Because like I don't give a fuck how they met. Like I don't like. And I feel bad for the son, but I don't care that there's horses around the paradise because of the son. I mean, that's a different type of show, right? You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking maybe the husband killed Cal
Do you mean
because
Sinatra's husband?
yes,
Okay.
because maybe because again he's like he's gonna talk. I'm trying to help my wife, whatever, and maybe he did it. Like whoever killed him, I feel like we know who it is, and we just got to
Oh,
get
we
there.
seen the killer, of course. We saw the killer in the first episode. We saw the killer, but who is it?
Then I feel like Gabrielle, someone knew about the cameras. That was the window when she was killed. So whoever knew that Billy and his girl were getting it in, and they've been doing this for months, they knew the time frame. Like they knew how to use that window. So I feel like that's a clue. But I feel like I feel like Gabrielle could be on the list, and the husband's and the husband, Sinatra's husband. I feel like characters you're not going to see coming.
This show is meant to go on for multiple seasons. They could solve the mystery in the next episode, and then the show just goes in another direction. Because I'm like, once they solve the mystery, how do they sustain the show? I'm like, they could have Billy be the guy. How are we going to catch Billy? And then that's it for that story. And then the rest of it is about the science fiction-y stuff about the politics of living in a bubble or whatever you want to call it.
Well, this is only 5 episodes, right? Or that's it, right?
No. There's eight episodes. Only because I saw
why are they only
IMDb.
showing 4 on the list? Like, did anybody notice that? It's just
No. I only when I looked at IMDb, it said like James Marsden's characters and Sterling Brown. It says 8 episodes. So at least for the first season, I'm assuming it's gonna be eight. So.
But to our I'm sure our collective points, solving a murder mystery does not take more than one season. Because now you stretch that you're doing too much at that point. Like if we were sold on a murder mystery, I agree. That's a season if that, right? But once you get past, unless someone else dies, what are we doing? Like
this is straight up like How to Get Away with Murder. It's like a big murder.
No, this is only murders.
You find out like who's the actual murderer, but then you find out in the season finale why he did that, and he was paid by someone, and then that goes into the following season, and then like why what's going on to that. That's just straight up what's going to happen here.
So I like both your point. I like Jamani's point too, that if this was a real world, then you could do like only murders in the building where like, okay, someone else dies. And then like now, like again, now Xavier is now the senior detective of this new world. And he just goes around solving mysteries or some shit, but he's only 25,000 people. Like that's a very finite number of people. So like, you ain't got that many options for many, many seasons, and once you start with the president, where do you go from there?
Like, you start with 25,000, but aren't there like what is the repopulation rate of that 25,000 year by year?
Well, they only have so much space, so unless they're actively killing people to be like, we got to make room for the new babies and stuff, right? Like this is not sustainable. Like this is it's not like overturned. And like they're like, hey, we got to make sure no one has sex with their cousin. Well, maybe some people want to have sex with their cousin, but that's another conversation. Like eventually, it's all gonna blend together. Like it's not sustainable. It's not.
It's not even logical because we're gonna multiply, right? That's just the way life is. That's what happens. People have children to repopulate the world, right?
Yes.
So you mean to tell me that you would build a dome, which is all I can tell that it is, and it's only 25,000 people to start with. And I mean, understandably, they're probably all the kids that they, that are in school. Those kids are probably what they're
Banking on
when they grow up, they'll be the ones to repopulate the world, right? And hoping that maybe they can inhabit a different place, right? Like Mars or whatever, Jupiter, whatever the place is. I think that that's maybe where they're trying to go with it, because if the Earth is gone, then where do you go, right? So, but we don't even know that part of it. That's another thing too. But I did have a question. Does anybody suspect Xavier's boss, the one that was sleeping with the president?
Robinson.
Yeah, Robinson.
No, it's too obvious. They wouldn't make it that obvious. I'm not.
Well, yeah, they were trying to make it really obvious, like it was Xavier, and I was like, that is ridiculous.
No. Well, he's the main star, so it will never be him. So
yeah, it could never be him. Yeah.
Well, the problem with Robinson, with the whole Olivia Pope, as Chris was pointing out, right? Like that whole she's standing in the mirror and she's like, "Oh, that dick was good." I'm like, she didn't kill this man. Like that's even Sinatra was like, "Can we get past this? Because I'm trying to solve this murder thing."
But do you think that maybe she knows something? Like I think she has maybe an insight on something. Like it feels to me like when she saw the blood on her shirt, well, his shirt, but it was on her, that maybe this is guilt. Do you know what I'm saying? Like you're dreaming because you know that this was going to happen. Because even when she left the room, did you notice her facial expression when she left the room? It was very bothered. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel this is my last moment with him, basically, and she knows something's going to happen. That's how I felt her face looked.
In general, she's going for like a Viola Davis like vibe. Like Terry was like giving Viola Davis vibes. I'm like,
as long as she's not doing a little chipmunk face thing that Viola. Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm thinking Kerry Washington. Sorry, Kerry Washington.
That's what you're thinking about. That's what you're thinking about. Like she's like, anyway. So she was chewing on something. Anyway, but I feel maybe Cal entrusted in her the secret information. Again, I am responsible for all this, and I want to tell someone, and she's like, "Oh my God, like what are we gonna do?" And then it's like, "Oh, that's must why he got killed, right?" So even she's like, "We got to get to that we got to get to that MacBook." Someone knew the code, right? His daddy. Sorry, my bad. When I was talking about old men, I was actually talking about his daddy, which was Simon and Simon and Major Dad and This Is Us. Like you see, maybe he did it because he's a billionaire of sorts and that kind of thing. And maybe he's like, again, son, don't be telling people that you caused this shit. And, and Sinatra was like, look, like your son's doing too much, blah, 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 blah. So maybe he goes in there. Someone had to have access. Someone who knows the house.
So what was with the cigarette code?
So I think, remember when they showed us the tail number of Air Force One or a plane, remember? And I think, right, like I think they're trying to act like it's a tail number. Like there's a plane up there, and maybe
okay.
And he's gonna figure it out for some reason. That's why they showed the kids going up there. I want to give 2 points. I want to give 2 points to the soundtrack because
I was like, yes.
I didn't like those covers. Why mess up with the original covers on both?
No, it was good, Chris.
No,
come on.
I mean, no. Okay, look. I would say my ultimate Phil Collins song is "Another Day in Paradise." But my thing was like, but they didn't even keep the beat. I was like, no, you can't do a cover without doing the whole thing.
Maybe they couldn't afford it, bro. The money.
Huh? They got Disney money behind them. What you talking about? They can't afford this.
Hulu money, and they started Disney money. Disney may be like, look, we're investing everything into Doomsday. We already paid Robert Downey Jr. $50 million.
That's why they could have wrote that part out.
I'm just saying they could be like, and then we built this city on rock and roll. I was like, I see where you're going.
Cinematography, and when the cinematography, when that song was being played, the original was perfect. It was perfect.
The original. The
original was playing, and then you see all these different scenes. He really is doing a good job with the cinematography, in my opinion. Like,
it's gorgeous.
Like it's really beautiful. I mean, if we could actually do a city like this, I would live there. Hopefully, someone would pick me. But you know what I mean? Like, it's a beautiful place. But like Chris said, because I told you guys, I raised my kids in the DMV, right? So I was like, this is definitely not a part that I have ever seen. And I've been to Northern Virginia. I've been to the Hampton Roads, Virginia. And I've been to, I lived in DC and I lived in Maryland. Never have I seen houses that look like this ever.
Right.
But I thought something was strange, and I don't know if you noticed this, Chris. When the first scene and he was jogging, right? We don't really have cul-de-sacs like that. Like they do, but not looking like that, right? So
Yeah.
like when the guy first came out of his house and he was like, "It's a bit warm today" or something like that. I was like, "This is weird."
Yeah.
It's just the way he said it was weird to me, and I was like, they control the weather. There's something going on here. Like it popped into my head. I know maybe you guys are like, no, I didn't, but it really did.
You figured it out.
No, he said,
No,
after he said it's cold today, he said that it's gonna warm up later. It always does.
It always does. That's it. That's it, Jamani. That's it. Yeah.
I thought he was just being a weird dude. I did
thought he was weird. Like,
I just thought he was just a weird white dude that just sometimes said, because I had a neighbor like that who just like say, you know what? Usually when it's cold like this, that means we're gonna have a really warm like summer. Like I just took it as.
Was he an older person? Because older people talk about weather.
Yeah, man. She's like, oh, I had to pee so often last night. That means it's going to rain today. Like, huh? Like, what you talking about? Like, what you talking? Like.
Also, did they pick old people? Like, I need Gabrielle to explain how she handpicked 25,000 people, and they've been doing this for years. Also, the scientist that was giving the doomsday presentation, was he at the table? Was he one of the people at the table?
No, those were just billionaires. Because when they show the captions, because I was watching the show, it said billionaire 1. It said billionaire 3. It said billionaire 3. So those are just the council of like the legions of doom or something. You know.
Well, how else? We'll talk about that when we talk about the movie I showed. Because that's also part of the same movie. So that same concept. Yeah. So I thought it's the laptop. Someone killed him because he wanted to be like, it's all my fault. Because they knew the society would fall apart. Just like we can't tell him the president was murdered. He died of natural causes. Like that's how it's gonna be, right?
No, I think you think that it's him saying something about how they got there. I think it's a matter of what's really going on up there right now. Like, you know, whatever has cleared up, and we can leave this place, and then she will lose the power that Sinatra has and what have you.
So Jamani, you think it's gonna be Fallout? You think it's gonna be like Fallout, like can't leave this place, and you go out and fall out like, oh shit, oh what the hell, like you know what I mean? So.
It's not as bad. They got zombies up there. Hey, next season we get into The Walking Dead. That's what I need. I need the walkers. I need vampires.
So you guys think there's gonna be another season?
No. Like we all agree that again, if this is a murder mystery, that's a limited series. This cannot go on.
I said that it's not listed as a limited series though.
You know, it's a thriller. Why says a thriller series? It said thriller.
David, you say this every show that you keep thinking is a limited series. You say this every time, and then they always add another season to it. And I'm telling you, to your point, this should be it, but it's not. This is going to be there's going to be a second season of this. I guarantee it. Just like Men's Warehouse. This will be.
Oh, remember? Look at you. Look at you. I like that. No, so that's only if they don't solve it or finding the computer pad leads to the next part of the mystery. Oh my God, it was so and so, and then how do we go after so and so? So they never. So like we said, like it's gonna be the next stage of the mystery, but it could be what's happening outside at that point.
But as far as Hulu has given a lot of second seasons to shows that didn't need it, and they keep canceling Kerry Washington shows. I'm still waiting for a second season of every Fires Everywhere, but
That was a limited series, bro. Like that story wrapped up, bro. Like I don't even see a problem doing that.
No, the little white girl is still burning stuff down all over the place, wherever the next town she goes to.
White girl's gonna be white girl. Nothing we can do about that. We got to let that go. I don't know. I thought you were gonna bring up Unprisoned, which again certainly was led to be for next season. They just like, hey, we gotta cut bait on Onyx on stuff. So we got who killed them. All right. So anyway, I'm going for Gabrielle of known characters in order. I'm going for Sinatra's husband, Gabrielle, or the daddy. Okay, so Sinatra's husband, Cal's dad, or Gabrielle. Those are my three suspects. Who killed Cal? Anybody else has similar or different suspects?
Say Gabrielle who?
Gabrielle in order. Gabrielle's last. So Sinatra's husband, Cal's dad, or Gabrielle. Billy is too easy because he's already looking like a scary white man. Like in this episode, that don't make any sense. Like you don't do that fast. So and he's too much on board with X. I mean, he's like, yo, bruh, I'm your day one. And he was like, what you need like right now. So I don't think he's the killer. I think he got some other things going on. What's up, Stacey? What you got?
It's Billy, the son, and
Wait, what son?
the guy across the street.
Cal's son. She's saying the guy was like, oh, I saw my dad, and the guy across the street. I like it because you see him, but you didn't see him, right? So he has plenty of time to go do other shit, and they can be like, "We told you, we showed you to him." I was like, "Oh, that's why he's the neighbor." Think about it. I was like, oh, okay, all right, I like that. All right, anybody else got suspects?
Xavier's son.
Xavier's son. We going for Xavier's son. After he gets X's daughter's drug.
I think he was over. I think he just randomly talked to the. I think when he got that book, ironically enough, he got James and Giant Peach, and I just thought it was kind of interesting how they go into detail how he, how the president just randomly gave it to him, and probably maybe because the president wasn't really close with his own son, so he tried to get close with Xavier's son, and then you're probably like, this is for my mama. This is for leaving my mama.
I'm sorry. Okay, you saying Xavier's son did it?
Yeah, that's what I just said. Xavier's son. Xavier's son.
My bad. Presley. That's his name.
Well, if you're gonna say the son did it, why don't you say
the daughter?
Well, I mean, speaking of which, I'm sorry. No offense. Okay. Right. I don't want to go with stereo.
No offense, but it's gonna be offensive, right?
I know Dave's going to go full stereotype thing later on, but for a second, all right, okay. Let me. I don't know how to do this without trying to make it too crash. I know black people. Okay, black people love music. I understand this, but I'm sorry. But you gonna go with Presley? I'm sorry, Elvis Presley. Even my own mother, right? My own mother, who has a deep tie, like love Memphis or whatnot. She will always say stuff about Elvis and like good stuff and then bad stuff. I don't know a single black woman alive who would be like, I'm gonna name my kid after Elvis Presley. I'm sorry. Michael Jackson, sure. Prince, absolutely. Elvis Presley, the fuck? Like, you know what I mean? I that threw me off. For a second I was like, is it a white mama? Like, you know what I mean? It was what, but the kids were too dark, So I looked at the color. You know what I mean?
I didn't have to say
Sterling K. Brown. I'm like, well, that sun kind of a little bit lighter shade. So maybe
a little light. He looked
just a little light, just a little bit on the light side.
I was like suspect.
That I'm sorry, I don't know. That kind of bothered me when she said, "Yeah, my wife like, oh, she loved Memphis," and I'm like, no, you could have said B. So we called him BB. Like, you know what I mean? Like, no, ain't no Elvis. There ain't no.
Presley was the daughter.
Yeah.
So real quick, so you think the president's son's gonna get Presley's draws? I feel like I'm not sure why that's necessary, but especially her friend is like, he's so cute. She's like, no, that's my white man. I was like, they didn't bring down the black kids. I'm like, damn, like where's the black one? Since they put race into this, I was like, I can't. The future is gonna be the president's son and X's daughter, and they're gonna be the next generation of leaders. Hence 2012. Also in that movie, but I want
the billionaires had a whole. They had different races as billionaires. Did anybody notice that?
Yeah. So Terry was all about
the world. I think those are like the different billionaires of the world. You know what I mean?
But it's still all in one room. They still saved different colors.
Yeah.
To go to this dome. Then they didn't have to. They could have like done an Elon Musk and what's the guy Bezos and. You know what I'm saying? Like they could have just done different, but they chose to do different, ethnic races. So
and I'm surprised they chose Colorado. I'm like, why wouldn't you choose like there's like all these other places like in the Middle East where they don't really care about like the life expectancy of some of these people who are building these things. I was just surprised that
But
everything.
maybe Colorado had the room. Maybe
Yeah, it's
that's
the
what
mountain
he
part.
found it.
It's
Yeah,
the mountain part.
mountainous.
Like
the mountain part.
because he
Yeah.
said build a hole and put yourself and go in it. So I think they were just going, where's the
Oh,
where's the
like a
base?
peach, like James and the Giant Peach. You know.
Right,
Oh,
see?
I see what they're. Oh, I see what they're doing
It's all
now.
connected. It's all
You know,
connected.
it's all
It's all
connected.
connected.
That's a good
Uh,
book, guys. It's a really good book.
Yeah.
I used to
See,
read it.
I never read it. I watched the movie. I love the movie. You know, the
Yeah, the
movie kind of
movie's
freaked me
really
out.
good.
With some of those creatures in that movie, I was like, oh my god, that worm, that worm. I don't know. He scared me as a kid watching. I was like, oh my, it's like he's scary.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
all right, so we got to wrap this up. So I'm gonna do
Uh-oh,
I'm
here
gonna
we
do
go.
2012 first. I'm gonna do 2012 first.
Oh,
And then
you ain't gonna go over the executive orders? Okay.
no, I would do no. That's last. Like I'm saving my DEI speech for last. But anyway, real quick, guys. If you are like this kind of story, again, I would recommend movie 2012. It came out in 2009, starring John Cusack, a pretty wide cast, but it's the same theory. This black scientist right here figures out that the world's going to end in about a year.
Oh, I saw that.
Not American.
Right. He is British, and then so he figures it out. He goes talk to the black president, played by Danny Glover, and basically the
Getting too old for
America
this.
leads an effort where they get all the rich people together and they basically build these arcs.
Mhm.
And the people who paid for them get to get on them. And it was built in China because cheap labor, and none of the people who build the arcs made it to the arcs. It's real fucked up. Anyway, they all sail to Africa when it's all said and done, because they had the highest point of elevation on the earth, and basically the president's black daughter and the black scientists are probably going to be the new leaders of the new world. So if you like this kind of thing of billionaires getting together trying to figure out who's going to be last, check out 2012. Came out 2009. It's very similar when I heard that concept. Did anybody see 2012?
Yeah, I did.
What you think, Kim?
I mean, I saw it when it first came out, but I thought it was a pretty interesting concept. I mean, I just was like, how do you build an ark and then what? Like, you know what I mean? Are you gonna forever be on a damn boat? Like,
well, so like I like the idea. They're like, once the water comes, then we'll just ride the wave. But like when they said they were going to Africa, I was like, hilarious. I was like, this is a bit, but I was like, and then again, remember, black scientists, the daughter was next. I was like, they're going to be the new leaders of America. I get it. Life started in Africa. I see what y'all doing. I was like, it was a bit on the nose. But it was good. Chris, you saw it. What'd you think?
Yeah, I thought it was good. I just thought it was just too much trying to be like Deep Impact. You know what I mean? Which came out a couple years before.
Yeah, Deep Impact, the Day After Tomorrow. To your point, there was a lot of end of the world.
Yeah, it's I mean, I don't think it kind of delivered as those films. I mean, hell, I'm sorry, but Armageddon, I freaking cried. I cried during Armageddon. I'm like,
me too. I did too.
I was like, Mark Clark Duncan, and then like especially when Bruce Willis was sacrificing himself.
Yo,
he said, "Take care of my daughter." He's like, "No." Tears, man. Tears.
He said, then, "Baby, Daddy ain't
so in
coming
2012,
home."
they kind of the problem I had with 2012 is they threw in like the wolves became like crazy or whatever, right? Was that? Am I getting the right one or right end of the world movie? Jake Gyllenhaal. Was Jake Gyllenhaal in this one? Jake Gyllenhaal.
No.
Which one was that?
I don't know, bro.
That was the end of the world one. He was like, I'm sorry. 2012 was like any other white end of the world type film. I'm sorry. I just, so sorry. I can't remember who was in it. All I know is Deep Impact and Armageddon was the only ones that did it.
I get that. I dare disagree with the race issue. Again, black president, black scientist. It was very. It was
but it's done like, come on, we know what they doing that for. You know what I mean? I mean Armageddon. I mean not Armageddon, but the Fifth Element did that shit first. Fifth Element did it before all of them. Fifth Element did the end of the universe, and we had Debo as president. That was a real. He was president of he was the president of the universe. That's different. Like he was deep. He was that nigga. All right.
Let's not do that.
So Chris, do you mean Day After Tomorrow?
Day After Tomorrow. Maybe that's what it was.
Okay. Yeah. Then we had to walk across America, and then that's the one where they ended up going to Mexico, right? Well, yeah, that was the one, right? Because America froze and Mexico was like,
and we all had to go. That's right. Yeah, so that was some messaging too, like just like the Africa thing was like Mexico was like, oh yeah, there is no more borders, right? Because I think was Morgan Freeman the president in that one? Morgan Freeman.
Huh?
Morgan Freeman was
Nah,
president.
I feel like it was a white dude. To this point, I feel
Nah,
like
it's usually
so
they usually
Morgan
make them black or they make them a
Freeman,
woman.
Deep Impact. Morgan Freeman was the president in Deep Impact because an
Deep Impact.
asteroid was coming.
Okay.
Deep
You
Impact.
sure the white guy in Day After Tomorrow?
It wasn't Morgan Freeman. I know that.
No, I know.
You know
I'm just saying, but usually they make it either a woman or a black guy.
I feel
Okay.
white though.
Wasn't it Dennis Quaid?
I feel.
There you go, Kim. You're right. You're right. Okay.
Yeah, so
for the long time, I thought Independence Day was the end of white men being president for some reason. Okay, gotcha. Okay, cool. All right.
I love the show. I love Sterling K. Brown, and it's a lot of things going on. It is not what they advertise, so you got to stick with it. A lot of fucking the most useless flashback was Sinatra meeting her husband. Like specifically, I'm like, this means absolutely nothing. Her breaking down the crime. All of her flashbacks actually mean nothing, except for her beating Cal, because now you know she was the financial base behind him running for president. Stacey and I, when I watched the first episode, Stacey and I had this conversation, and I thought Cal was supposed to be the Democratic Trump we're supposed to like, because he was a businessman who just kind of fell into office, and he didn't know what cereal was and all this bullshit. And I'm happy that even though he's from the South, which is a constant Hollywood trope, he made no effort to do a country accent, a Southern accent, and I thank you for it, because stop it, bro. Like, not everybody can do it. Like, and just let's not do that. So I appreciate that. But once he found out that he was a senator, that means he's not really Trumpy. He's more like Bill Clinton in that sense. And he's also from Westworld.
Okay? So let me ask you. So you didn't think the whole end of the world thing was too much of adding even a secondary story? You were fine with it, I guess.
No.
It sounds like you kind of were okay with all this stuff, because I feel like it becomes a mess myself.
As long as they keep to the murder mystery, right? Like, if they keep present day, who killed Cal, and they work that out, I'm okay. Flashbacks to, this is the scientist who told Samantha about all that bullshit. Like, I don't need that shit. I don't need to see how they built it. I don't give a fuck about, like the people running it. Like, how did Gabrielle select all those people? Like, that's a whole other show. That's a whole other show. If they're just like, we're doing a murder mystery inside of a dome instead of inside of a house, to Jamani's point of like only murderers in the dome or whatever, then okay, let's just focus on that and get through that. But they're gonna keep on doing what's up, Jamani?
But the thing is that they are gonna do it, because after watching 3 episodes, this is Lost. Every character has a flashback episode.
No, it's This Is Us. This is Us. I disagree.
I think Chris should decide, because he's actually seen both the shows.
He didn't see This Is Us.
He didn't see this.
I didn't see this. It does give me some Lost vibes though, but I mean, I can't really judge on This Is Us since I haven't seen it. So,
but that did it. Like, the main character, like Cal, and then what was the father's name? Randall's dad, the white dude that because he like lived in flashbacks, huh? Jack spent almost the entire series in flashbacks because he was already dead. And it's like, but it was multi-generational. It was a very, very different show. And for that show, it made sense. And they made all the stuff kind of come together. This is just constant, like, just bouncing back and forth. It almost feels like Westworld, where you're like, is it now? Like, is it what is happening right now? Why is it relevant? We do got to wrap this up. So I'm gonna share my thoughts. What do y'all think? I felt like it was a bit much too DEI with Sterling K. Brown. Like, the whole bullshit conversation of, I picture, right? Because, you black, and I need you to be a black man next to me because I'm from the South as I'm kissing babies. I'm like, please shut the fuck up. Because, again, you got a picture of you standing next to Obama. Like this, that's there. So we already got black people in America and in pretty senior positions. And the race doesn't play into anything. And I tried to let that go. Huh?
Yeah.
So
it might be something, because they keep bringing it up, and I'm like, okay, this needs to lead somewhere.
Thank you, Stacey. I just need this to lead somewhere. Then we get the whole, he thought you played basketball because you're black, and he just what the fuck are we doing? Then I wanted to hear, well, he actually had a Mandingo fantasy. He wanted you to come over and fuck me in front of him, but that just never worked out. Like, I thought that's what that conversation was going.
I don't know. He was getting kind of cozy with the first lady. You know, you saw that.
So man, that's what
the first lady was about to fuck him at first. You saw how she fucked him?
That's why I was like, oh, like maybe he was dicking her down, and that's why, and that like maybe. Then we get the whole your great granddad your granddad was a Tuskegee Airman, and now your dad's a pilot. And I was like, oh, okay, so was your great granddaddy like the first free slave who established like Black Wall Street or something? Like, why is this necessary?
No, to your point. So I was fine with that. The problem is it kind of I like that moment with the whole grandfather to the father to him. The problem is it all kind of gets erased away when the president says, "Hey, it doesn't hurt that you were black." You know what I mean? That kind of, because then the line is like, "Hey, yeah, we did it the right way." You know what I mean? We got up there, we got it the right way, and I'm like, "Well, shit!" Like, when you hear the president is saying this shit, you know what I mean? And I think the timing is just off for a couple reasons. You know what I mean? Obviously, the whole DEI stuff that's going on in the news, and then now with the horrible plane disaster that just happened. That's coming together. To your point, Jamani, I was scared as hell, and I was thinking like when he was talking to the therapist, to Gabrielle, about like, tell me about your father's last flight, and and you saw his face got worried. I got worried because I was like, are they going to show his Parkinson's like happen while he's on the in flight? Yeah. I thought that was going to happen. I was like, why the fuck are they airing this? Like, why are they airing this right now? Well, I guess they aired it earlier in the week before all this, maybe, but I'm like, oh, timing is horrible. And then it just went to like, I pulled your paper. I was like, whew, you know what I mean? I was like,
but what made the cows conversation even more unnecessary is when you found out Gabrielle picked him before he even walked through the door. She said, "This is your guy," and he said, "Okay." And then so all that bullshit wasn't even true. And I'm like, why? Again?
Yeah. Why have that combo? Why have that combo?
That's why I'm like, why are we doing this shit?
Unless we've seen a flashback that out of all the things he lied about, as far as probably putting his wife on a plane, maybe he discovers that was a lie too. Who knows, man?
Dude, that's what I'm saying.
I have a question.
What's up?
Can we just let the show continue and then we'll get the answer to these questions instead of assuming that we know what's going to happen?
That's true.
We don't know. We have no clue. That's what makes it intriguing. So why don't we just continue to watch and then talk about it? Right?
We will leave it open. We will leave it open to see if his blackness becomes relevant. But anyway,
but I do have to say something about the DEI. I need a lot of people to please look up what it means, because it really doesn't have a lot to do with black people. Just look it up. Actually, if you go on the Capitol's website, it shows you what it is. And it's not really, I mean, it's diversity, of course, right? Yeah. But it's not really aimed at black people. Like it's for everyone of different races. It also is for handicapped people. Yeah. It's for poor people.
To your point, it started off really for women. It was because there was a disparity of males.
White women. The first
it was women. Yeah, it was women and disabled. To your point.
So to me, the whole argument is it's null and void. Can we just go look up what it actually means and then see if we have a different insight on it? Now, I'm not going to say that the changes that are going on, the idiot is doing because he didn't read it himself, because he doesn't in my opinion, the speeches he gives, he doesn't even know what it means. No. He just hears diversity and automatically, it's been black people. That's not what it is. So we need to just educate ourselves.
It's just unfortunately they turn this into a bad word, just like CRT was turned into a bad word, and woke was not what what woke means today is not what woke actually is. You know what I mean? But now woke is this horrible word. Now you can't even say that without people start cringing. You know what I mean? Which is not what the initial purpose was. But any term that is used, that black people use or whatnot, is just they just flip it on his axis, and it's
exactly.
Now it's-
or people who need to be represented. Again, other people have other words. You know what I'm saying? Like,
And
I'm
it's
saying,
also
so, like,
trans. It's also trans people, gay people. It's
I would-
so
I would
many
say-
different colors of the rainbow, right? It's
I
like
would say, especially. Anyway, that's another video. So I would say thank you guys for hanging out with us. I'm just gonna cut everybody off. Boop, 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 because we got to get to all the family business. But thank you guys very much for hanging out with us. We will do this show for as it goes every week. It's an awesome show, and we all look forward to watching it and talking about it and seeing where it goes. So thank you. And then so stick with us. We got New Orleans. We got so we got family business New Orleans, and then we got the Oval. So Stacey and I will be discussing that. Until next time, I will say thank you guys very much for hanging out with us. I see people watching, people in the chat.
I enjoy The View very much. I don't know what the fuck I was watching.
Rewatch this. Rewatch this when we're done. Rewatch this. You'll see what we're talking about. You're gonna be like, oh shit,
Hilarious, absolutely hilarious.
You want to go there?
Stacey, do your thing.
Fuck that shit.
But anyway, please like and share and comment on the video and all that kinds of stuff. As they say, we're just gonna end this broadcast and say bye.